This is it, y'all. Gutta's Own 2024 festival.
Woo!
We're here. We're excited. We're super excited. Thank you for being here. So this is our third edition of the Krump discussion. All right, and this year we have some amazing guests. For those who don't know them, if you're in the Krump community, obviously you know who we have here. We have the cream of the crop. We have some living legends. We have some people who are very influential in our movement, so we're happy to have them. So I'm going to start by introducing them real quick, and I'm going to also give them a chance to do a quick introduction and, talk about themselves a little bit. So let's start off straight out of Germany. Let's make some noise for Queen Buckhype. To my right, I have the one and only, the legend, the OG, Daisy, in the building. Last but not least, we have the man, the globetrotter, the champ. I think he still has the belt or something. What? Yeah, here you go. That's what I'm talking about. Make some noise for Beast, straight out of LA. Right. Yeah, so I just want to start off by giving y'all a chance to kind of talk about yourself a little bit, not only from a Krump perspective, but just life in general, because I feel like sometimes we're so caught up into dancing that we forget about the human aspect of everybody. So I just kind of want to give y'all a chance to talk about yourself, introduce yourselves, and get people to know a little bit more about you. Let's start with Queen. Tell us what's up.
Yeah, I'm Queen, aka Queen Buckhype, aka Bad Blood. Yeah, I'm 29. I love to sleep. This is one of my favorite things.
Let's go.
Yeah, I love fashion. I love nails, lashes, whatever. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I love it in a nutshell. So you love fashion. You said you love nails and lashes. Yeah. That's one of the things that I'm always impressed with, is when I see Queen Buckhype in one of the Buckest main event battles, and the nails are this long, and she's just getting off. So yeah, well, and you love to sleep. That's always interesting to know. All right, thank you so much for this brief introduction. Let's move on to Daisy. How you doing?
I'm Gucci. I'm
Yeah.
Gucci. Feeling good, feeling great. So yeah, I am Daisy. How do I start this off? As far as this Krump thing goes, I've literally been in it since the beginning. I am one of the female originators of the style. I pretty much grew up in it. So since 2002, and I'm still here today. But outside of Krump, I'm also an artist. I make music. Rap a little bit, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of a lyricist, you know what I'm saying? A little bit. Yeah, I'm just a lover of art, lover of music, lover of all things revolutionary. Yeah, I work with kids. I do some stuff. I kind of get in the field with the kids that need help, that are homeless. So yeah. That's what I do. Yeah, I'm the buckest woman on earth.
Damn! All right, we done.
And I guess my little personal mission statement is to just get the whole world buck, especially women. I also represent that to the fullest. I believe that, the future is female. So I think every other woman is also the buckest woman on earth. That's the whole reason why I kind of came up with the alter ego. I want to spread it. So yeah, that's me. But we got a lot to talk about, so we'll get into it.
Let's get it. The buck is. I love it. I love it. All right, thank you. What about the homie Beast? What's good?
What's up, y'all? My name is Beast. My real name is Sherwin Salonga. I come from Carson, California. I've been crumping since 2006, 2007. Before that, I was a musician, so I was playing guitar mainly, but I dabbled in drums, guitar, piano, and some air instruments, like the baritone, trombone, trumpet, all that. Yeah, so my family was a little musician family, and then we just did everything together. So once we watched the movie Rise, we just started dancing. Once my oldest brother, rest in peace, got into social work, we got into social work and being part of like a pro-activist group when I was like very young. Not very young, but like around 11, 12. So when I was like 12 years old, I was already out in the streets, like protesting against like injustice amongst the minorities and just educating myself around that and around my people like the Filipinos and the Asians and colored and all that. So yeah, I was woke in a very young age, and yeah, I just feel like everything that I do just reflects that from my upbringing, and it just came natural to when I was put in a position to lead Krump, let's say. Yeah, I was just around it to just be around my family, and I just didn't know that I was already learning things of how to organize sessions, events, and yeah, just by watching my elders from those groups and even getting into church as well. Um, so yeah, and I just love learning about stuff. I am a college graduate, so I have a bachelor degree in biblical studies from Biola University, which is like one of the best, or in my opinion, the best, private Christian college. And yeah, I was doing that while I was traveling, dancing. So it was only, it was only God that made it possible. Cause like I'd only show up to in semester for like eight times, and somehow I still got better grades than my classmates because I really loved what I was learning, and my teachers were very graceful and understood that I was paying my school through gigs like this when I was younger. And yeah, so that's just me in a nutshell. I love to read books. I love to just learn about random stuff. So yeah.
All right, there you have it. Our guests for today's discussion. So my first thing that I want to talk about, first of all, I'm very interested in, again, the person, the human behind everything that we do, because we get to see and admire what y'all do through the screen, and we don't really always think about like, okay, well, these people have like a life beyond what they're doing. And I think it's important to highlight that because those things also affect your art form. It affects your craft. All right. So I kind of want to just go back to this idea of, you talked about how fashion is something that you're into. Do you feel like there's those elements that you mentioned in your introduction somehow influence like your craft, or is there a way for you to blend are you looking into blending all of these different passions within your art form, or is just like two things that are completely separate? You don't have to answer. Like anybody who wants to answer first, you go ahead. But I just took this example as far as fashion, but I know music is intertwined with Krump and your studies, or even you as a musician. So I'm curious to hear that.
Take a dive.
Should I?
I mean, he kind of called you out now.
Okay, let me do it. Yeah, when it comes to nails and hairs, it's definitely a part. In my Krump, like in my dance zone or whatever. So yeah, first I was like separating those things. So I always had nails when I wasn't at events.
Okay.
But now I switched it up. I was like, no, I'm going to have my nails on events just because, I was a woman first and then I became a Krumper. So, yeah, I took this part with me, and now, like, I know, like, other girls were doing this before, but, like, when it comes to Europe, it was more like a push, so other females also doing it now. First they start laughing, but now they're like, I did my nails, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And even with hair, like, I always have a different color. Like, last year EBS, I had pink. This year I had red. So, yeah, I'm going to take everything into Krump.
Yeah, that's the queen persona, right? I guess. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
It's
For me, I guess there is a lot like that I do outside of Krump, from like my upbringing and stuff, and the easiest way to describe it, I guess, is Beast Camp. So everything that I'm doing and did do and am gonna do is just inspired from, from what I was exposed to when I was younger. So obviously with like community events, watching, like I remember one time we were in a meeting, and we used to be in meetings like every Sunday for like 12 hours, just trying to like figure out how to uplift the youth, how to make events for that. And I remember my sister was kind of sad. My oldest sister was kind of sad, and we stopped the whole meeting. And the leader of the meeting was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Well, I want to do a event for my city, for Carson." So he cleared the whiteboard. He's like, "So what's the event?" And literally saw it verbatim of how to run an event. Let's call it a name. Let's get some vendors. Let's make a theme. Let's invite some performers. Boom, boom. So, yeah, just seeing that at a young age helped me, just do these types of things with experience and with exposure as well. And yeah, that's just what I try to tell like a lot of young people in Krump, even if their goal is just to be good in the craft. I think just expose themselves to these types of things, and you never know if along the way it'll help them, with their community and stuff like that. So yeah, just being around that, and also being in college, it helped me a lot. Just being like just studying a lot. And at the time, I didn't understand it. Like I was one of those people that did not like college, did not understand it. I was good at it, but then later on, when I graduated from college, I was still yearning to study anything, So, and I just think always being a student isn't just like a slogan to me, because it took me a while to graduate college because traveling and whatnot, and being from like a poor family and being in a private college. So so that too. And that's something that I was like heavily promoting when Beast Camp first started to make a global statement. And I think one of the global statements was just be a student, and remain a student, and keep asking questions and keep studying the greats. And no matter what level you're at, you can always like study the greats. You could always learn something, and learn something from anybody. So my favorite thing to do is teach classes, because I'm also learning from the students too, especially when it's like beginners, because they're so free and they're not fixed already, and the ideas that we give them, they just translate. That inspires me too, instead of just like, this is a jab. But when we teach in a certain way that makes them explore. So it's just community, and just keep studying the greats, to be honest.
That was a great answer. That was great. I'm a little ghetto, so we'll get a little ghetto here. Display. No, to double back though, he really is the student. Like, I call him Beast Lee. Like the way he really takes Krump, and he really is like the ultimate like history movement, the who's who in the style. Like, he has really throughout the years like just always paid homage, no matter like how much, even him becoming his own leader with Beast Camp and stuff, like he really makes sure like the story is always told, you know what I mean? And he's acknowledging like everything in the culture. So yeah, he really is the student. Like, I'm trying to tell you, this is why he a killer. He a killer. But yeah, so about me. Thank you. So yeah, the question, music. Yes, music is definitely something that I would incorporate into the Krump movement, but I myself, I don't necessarily make Krump music, which we have that in the style. I do, but I don't. Let me explain. Okay, so in Krump, which I want to say after our documentary Rise, which if you haven't seen that, that is like kind of the intro to this thing. It gives you some background on clowning and crumping. But after the movie, it came out in 2005. It's a documentary. And we didn't have a sound yet. Like, starting off in Krump, we used to dance to like East Coast American hip hop music. Like, that was the vibe for everything that we did. So it would be like DMX, the Rough Riders, Jay-Z, the Locks, like anything that was just super street and just felt like something raw. Like that's what we gravitated towards. The Diplomats, Dipset, like all of that. So in the beginning we had that music. Oh yeah, 50 Cent, gotta mention him for sure. 50, we need something, by the way. We need something. Talk to the Krumpers. But yeah, so that was the thing. After the movie, then we had a group called the J Squad, who would be the first like Krump producers. So they basically just made like instrumentals, no vocals, no anything, just like these raw beats. And we started dancing to that. And then like shortly after, other people started catching on to the wave and like creating other instrumentals and tracks, adding ad libs and different stuff. So really the first person who started like rapping on Krump tracks was Tie Dyes. So he was the one really who established like talking about the dance style on the tracks. So like the way that in his mind, how he wants to battle somebody, like he would put that in the music. So we all kind of start catching on to that wave. And, you know, just years down the line, the music has been developing more and more. Like now you have your producers in America. We got Krump producers in Europe, like everywhere, really. That's just like crazy. So I myself, I've been making music since I was like probably like 13, which is crazy because to this day, like I don't have no like an actual discography that you can like find. I've been like just training in it. So like recording in the studio, doing shows, doing all this developing and stuff. And it took me a while really to kind of figure out where I wanted to go with the music. So like I went through this phase where like when Kanye West came out, it was about being a backpack rapper, being conscious, being just maybe having on a polo shirt, the Ralph Lauren, like that was the vibe. So I was always like more attracted to artists who had something to say in terms of like the content, like the context of what was being put out there. So I looked at like Lauryn Hill, I looked at Talib Kweli, I looked at, you know, Mos Def and Common and all of them. So I had that phase, and then I changed. Then I was talking about I was a gospel rapper. And I was talking about I'm from the Christian hip hop community. Like I went through all of these different phases of trying to figure out like what it is that I wanted to do in terms of like how I wanted to put myself out there. So then I want to say it literally took me to probably about 2019 for me to realize like all this time while I was doing music and stuff, because I also was a part of a children's like music group called the Giggle Club, which is crazy because it's like all this crumping we doing with like these mad faces, and I was in a group called the Giggle Club. So like they used to be like, Daisy, we need you to smile more, like, and I would just be like, why? And Nick Cannon was actually a part of this group. So they were trying to do like a kids version of the show Making the Band. Right. So like a pop star type of thing. So it's just so funny because I was doing all this kind of behind the scenes while being this Krumper. So in 2019, I kind of realized like, dang, all this time you've been trying to put yourself in a certain box in terms of what you should do with music, but you're a part of a culture that's been established since the early 2000s. So one of the words that we use in Krump is buck, which buck is, I guess like your actual definition is like something that's wild, like going buck wild and crazy. But it's so much deeper for us now. Like I realized like, dang, instead of you trying to fit with this other stuff, like this whole time, like you've been buck. And I realized like, dang, we've now sort of transcended in times where even hip hop music has subgenres. So I was like, dang, we got like trap music and we got other stuff that's kind of like an umbrella of hip hop. And I'm like, wait, I think this buck thing is like some sort of umbrella of hip hop. Like, wait a minute, I was in the shower, y'all, having an epiphany, like, wait a minute, the culture, y'all. Then the cool thing is everybody in Krump all does something outside of dancing. So you'll find, like you said, Queen is into fashion. We have people who have clothing lines in Krump. We got people who are photographers, people that are videographers, cinematographers, people that are into visual arts and other styles of dance. Like, it's a lot of cross talents. So I'm thinking like, yo, I think, and I won't even say it's a wave because I don't want it to come off as like a trendy thing, but I think what we have now is really a culture of buckness.
Right.
And I believe that buckness is really you being the truest version of yourself set free. So the idea is we all strive kind of for like this freedom, you know, in what we do. And that's why I said like the mission is to get the world buck. Like, I think everybody carries their like daily weights and stuff that they deal with every day. And when we come together and we Krump, we really release all that stuff like on the dance floor. So it's the same thing with buckness. Like, buck is literally like a mindset. It's a lifestyle. Like the way we dress. You see, we the sunglass crew today. Like, that's buck. Buckness can be found in literally anything. It could be like, you could be watching a cool movie and the dialogue speaks to you and it's like, yo, that's buck. Like, we say it all the time. So yeah, I think all of that sort of embodies what I'm trying to do with my artistry. And I am now kicking myself in the leg and getting in the studio, recording some stuff. So I'm ready to really put it out there, like buckness, and represent our culture. So yeah, like all of that is like who Daisy is. And I'm also really funny though too.
You are funny. It has only been 2 days. You've been cracking jokes. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear you talk about all the different elements. I think that the key word that I'm really always trying to use when I'm in either the classes, all that, is a word culture. You know, because if we only limit ourselves to the dance, then I think we're like limiting ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And this is what we're trying to do with the Gutta Zone Festival. Not all the festivals have like discussion moments. Not all the festivals have like moments where we kind of like push the envelope with something like House of Cards, you know, the stuff that we're going to be, the battle that we're putting together for Saturday evening. But even like we had a discussion about, hey, man, what about next year having a place where we can actually have Daisy, you know, performing and performing some of her music, or even, you know, I also do music, and like, is there a place for producers and rappers and singers? Yeah. I know Concrete does some dope stuff, you know, like, I heard, you know, so many great artists that we have beyond the dance, and it's like, we need to keep in mind that, you know what, that there is a possibility for us, but we also need to create those possibilities and stop waiting for others to do that stuff for us. Cause it needs to come from us, you know, within the community. So I think this is super dope. Even get Beast on the guitar, a little something, you know.
Yeah, like, I didn't know you play instruments. What? What? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, right. Just to zone in a little bit on the Krump tip, what was your biggest, your hardest moment in Krump, whether if it was a battle or a moment in the session, but hardest in the sense where it was a very hardcore event that changed you and shaped you till this day, whether it's a loss in the battle or like either a session or anything that happened in your Krump career that really kind of shook you, but after overcoming that obstacle, it kind of brought you to the next level.
Hardest moment? It's, you know, for me, it's such a funny thing to, I think, hear the word career when it comes to Krump. Because to me, it's so like, I mean, the dance is a street style. Like, we started off practicing in the living rooms and like the garage and being in front of like somebody's house or a parking lot. So I guess I never really viewed it as a career. It's just kind of like been our lives. So I don't know. It's interesting to look at it in that sense. But I guess since, you know, we do have events and different things now. What's one of those crazy moments? Well, they talk about the moment in Rise where like T-Fly, the old baby Tight Ice, he says that I just struck. Right. So I guess I don't want to say that was like a hard moment, but I think for Krump, like the transition out of clowning, which is more so about like the entertainment aspect, I think that was like, I guess the moment where I felt like, can I cuss? I didn't give a fuck. like
It was a powerful moment.
yeah, like, and just to give some like introspection into what that was in the movie, a lot of people don't know, and this might be the first time I'm talking about it. So I was battling Dragon in the movie, and Dragon was actually, I want to say maybe the first kind of out of the pioneer group that would really try to push me. Like when I first started dancing, I was very shy. Like I was a shy clown, and that's crazy because how do you be a shy clown? But I used to be nervous really to like get out there and like do stuff. So he kind of saw the potential, I think, as far as what he thought I could become like in Krump. And in that moment, it was just kind of like, all right, we got all these cameras, all these kids, the lights, like, I'm about to get off on this nigga. So I just kind of like, I don't know, I just let loose and went into this severe spank. And I guess, yeah, like that was the moment that I just kind of let go. So that was one that I would say that I kind of like, all right, this was a moment for me. But I guess in terms of like maybe battling somebody, I know people talk a lot about my Cage 3 battle with Kisses. So I feel like that probably was the first battle that I actually like felt like I had to really go in the lab and think about things. Like everything else was really about just kind of doing it. Like, you know, you battle somebody here in the streets, whatever, you know. But that particular event, it was like a thing. Like, all right. So I really was like, all right, I gotta like come up with something to get her.
Those were two moments that
Yeah.
definitely shaped you. Like you kind of till this day you remember those.
For
moments.
sure. And those are two moments that people talk about a lot.
Right,
Like in
right,
Krump,
right.
when they
That's
meet
dope.
me, stuff that they watch. So yeah, I would say that's something for me.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What about you, Queen?
Huh. I think
Everything's easy for the Queen.
no,
Served on the
it's
silver
not.
platter.
But I think it was the first time EBS, like the pre-selection, because I didn't pass. And actually, it was my first year of Krump, or like 6 or 7 months, but I didn't pass, and it made me so mad that I was like, next year we'll come back and smash everybody of you. So since that, I started training, and I was talking about it in 2022. My judge team were at EBS. I was talking about, 2012, I didn't pass the pre-selection. And in my head, I was like, it would never happen again. And it really didn't happen again. So that was in my mind. And I started training like almost every day. I was like, no, EBS, I'm going to pass, I'm going to pass, I'm going to pass. And yeah, this is how it impacts me now.
So for all of you who don't make it past the pre-selections and that are crying, you know what you got to do. Follow the example of the Queen. Get your ass in the lab, all right? But it's really through most of the time through the losses that we learn the most, you know? So it's like, hey, if I look at my record, like most of the battles that I've done, I lost them. So it's like, it doesn't take anything away from you, you know? It actually builds you up. So thanks for sharing that. So 2012, didn't make it past the pre-selections. 10 years later, you're actually judging and doing a judge demo. That's crazy. Yeah, that's dope.
That's Buck.
That's Buck. There you go. There you go. What about you, Beast?
Shoot, there's probably like 2 or 3. One of them is about that, like losing battles, especially like where we come from. I guess where everyone comes from, like before tournaments, basically. It was just exhibition battles. So you weren't judged on the spot, you know. So to be judged on the spot and to say like you lost, and especially like when you lose and in your heart you feel like you didn't lose, you know. I feel like that can really define a dancer, a battler, whatever, and just really learn from that still, that at the end of the day, the judges are there for a reason, and they do have a reason. Even if you don't agree with the reason, it's still something for you to think about and something for you to lab at, something for you to get better at. So it was hard. Like there was times when I was arguing with like, yeah, my friends who were judges, like Gritchka. I remember like, boom, slamming the table, like, why'd I lose, you know? And he gave me a reason. I was like, what? I don't understand. And next day I was like, okay, I understand. And yeah, same thing with like some people like Slam, all of them, especially like in my early years doing like tournaments. And yeah, you just gotta, well, we say you either win or you learn, you know, and really take those losses, yeah, to heart, and don't be shy of those types of emotions, like really being like, dang, of course don't stay there, but really feel those emotions and then pick yourself back up. Don't beat yourself up too much. And yeah, it's stuff that maybe you don't want to learn, but maybe you do want to learn. And I remember like Krump when we did the $8, and that's like last day, 10-day Krump camp, and me and Bruiser were in the finals, you know, and it was amazing. Always loved battling him and whatnot. And then, yeah, when the results happened, I think even he was a bit surprised, and because Tadai's picked me too. And yeah, in my heart, I felt it, but I knew, because me and Tadai's talked about it. He's like, I don't understand. Like, you were just better at that round. But I was like, but he did end in liveness, though. So my round started decreasing, 3, 2, 1, and then while Bruiser was just up, 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 and, you know. So I was like, you know what? Ever since then, I'll always end my tournament round in liveness, even if how tired I am, if I don't like my rounds. And I always tell my students that, like, never leave a pre-selection, even a session with your head down. Don't let people know that you didn't enjoy your dance, you know, because it may impact somebody, like, in a moment and whatnot. And when they see you kind of put your head down, maybe that moment's gone and whatnot. So, yeah, that, you know, just learning how to lose like that. And it's even hard to be in a position like, you know, like having a big homie like Eyes at the time. We're supposed to be undefeated, you know, like that's the standard. So that was very difficult to have. But I was lucky enough growing up. His name is Gabe, or the old Kid Beast. And he was teaching me that when I was like 12, 13, 14. I was battling him every day until I finally beat him like a year later and whatnot. So that's another story. But yeah, another one I think that really changed me was understanding like organizing events. And, you know, it's very, very difficult. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to organize events, to organize these things. And it's also very difficult coming as like from the one that's always getting booked. And sometimes people just stop there. Oh, I'm not going to, you know, throw sessions or throw events or whatnot. But in my opinion, if you really love the culture, you would want to understand as much about the culture as you can. So like with music, with fashion, with even events, with sessions. And you can add your own flavor, like how you add your flavor in Krump with these different types of settings. And slowly there's going to be so many options to throw a session, you know. I did ask some OGs, especially like Miho, but yeah, I believe I'm one of the first or the first person to publicly say free lab and session. You know, back then it was just session. And I was getting so much crap for it in LA. Like, one, why are you teaching for free? And two, like, we don't really lab like publicly, as in like I'm facilitating it. Hey guys, let's work on this. Here's some knowledge. Boom, boom, boom. Let's try it in the session. You know, I was getting so much crap. So many people were coming to my sessions trying to, you know, sit there and kind of see if I was teaching the right things and whatnot, from creators to OGs to new people to haters, whatever. And then now you kind of see it everywhere in flyers, lab and session, lab and session. And I had a discussion with Miho and a lot of OGs, like, let's look back at the flyers. Like, was that really a thing, or did people just show up and just like session, you know? So again, that was just my thing of just like implementing a session. And I have so many things that I want to implement in the sessions. I mean, you guys can do it because it's not my idea. It's an idea. I believe that ideas chooses people for it to be manifested. Does that make sense? So if you don't make that idea, you're gonna see somebody do that idea and then you're gonna get mad because you didn't choose to manifest it. Has that happened to you guys before? Like, oh, I got this idea for this like shoe brand. You don't manifest it, you don't do nothing, and then you see it later, your friend does it, you see something, boom, boom. And I just believe that's just what happens, you know. That's another topic because I study about creativity a lot from Rick Rubin, from Elizabeth Gilbert, and whatnot, and they always say that creativity is this other entity that chooses us to just be in partnership to manifest, you know. So I do want to implement like choreography in it on some like step up type stuff in the middle of the session. Imagine if like it looks like someone's about to have a regular round, boom, and it turns into like a mini performance like in the session. Like keep it raw, you know, just so we can invite more choreography people, boom, boom.
Got served.
Right. Me and Daisy talking about like I want to collab with her to live, like do her hype ups live, like dropping bombs, drop like feel that like raw like hip hop or Krump, like, you know, dancing to like live, something live, you know, and maybe just 20 minutes within that. So yeah, if you really truly love the culture and if you feel like, you know, I've been here, I've been good, then keep adding on, and that it is gonna test you a lot. Yeah, and last part of that, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but the hardest part is when this dance stuff starts to get personal, and when just friendships change and, you know, like circles change and whatnot. It really pushes you to always remind yourself like who you are first, you know, and just trust like who you are, trust the process, and understand that these things do happen. And yeah, so I'm gonna just leave it as that. But for sure, like that, those three, like losing battles or being in that, organizing events or just trying to put into the culture like that, and you know when the drama happens.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the public real quick. If anybody has a question, quelqu'un qui veut poser une question, you know, or share something with either of our guests, you could go ahead. I'm gonna take some questions now. Yes, I know. I see you, Triple, little lady Triple. I feel you. So you want go ahead.
I wanted to ask, what was the most significant thing that you've seen change in Krump culture from the time that you've been in it?
So let me ask that again, so we got it on audio. You want to ask them, what is the most significant change that they've noticed since they started Krump? You know, from the time that they started till now, what was the most significant change?
Because I've been in it literally since the start. It's been a lot that's changed. The most significant, I would say, from 2002 to 2024. So today we now have, well, Krump is international. So I think you can literally find a Krump community on every continent except for Antarctica. And like some people joke, like it's probably an Eskimo getting off down there too. So like internationally, where it is, but even that is an interesting piece because it's almost like we're still kind of like hidden figures in a sense, because we had a moment where, of course, with Rise and even other things, because a lot of Krumpers have had opportunities to dance for artists, to like tour, to do music videos, commercials, even little spots in movies and stuff. So I guess like separating like the mainstream, like commercial aspect to dance, like they acknowledged us as a specialty dance, early 2000s. And I guess to see it kind of come out, I think a lot of people just in general in the world, like your average just civilian, thought that it was just a trendy dance from the early 2000s. So the fact that it has lasted, you know, until now and still going, and it's everywhere, but I feel like the world at large is not aware. So that's kind of like the most significant thing. Like it's constantly been growing and we've been establishing, like from the beginning. I guess another significant thing is the style itself, the way that it started, we didn't have fundamentals and basics and things that had names to where like I can literally tell you what something is and teach you that. Like in the beginning, I like to call it the spaz out era, which really just meant we used to wall out. You know, we were trying to figure out what the language was. You know, we knew it was a raw expression and we would do certain things, but there was no dance studio. Like there were no workshops. There were no, it wasn't choreography. Like now Krump can be choreographed. We call it Krumpography. So I guess going from that to now, like we can literally do workshops and I can tell you like, oh, this is a jab, this is a chest pop, this is a stump. The language has developed throughout the years. And even the events, in the beginning, we didn't have events either. Like clowning, Tommy the Clown, he had Battle Zone. And that's what a lot of us early Krumpers before Krump, when we were clown dancing, we went to that. So now we have events in America. We have events, you know, overseas. So it's a lot that really has significantly changed. So, but I would say the growth of the movement and then also the establishment of the style. Like it's definitely evolved a lot. Like if I show you me dancing in 2002 and then like how you see the dance now is like, oh, that's crazy. So yeah, that is probably like the most for me. I don't know.
Right. I'd like to go to Queen because you're both from LA, right?
Yeah, yes.
Even
yes,
though
yes.
you didn't start West Side, even though you didn't start in the same era, like obviously Daisy been there from the beginning, but like if we go to Europe, you know, I know that y'all probably have a different culture or there are different things going on out there,
Yeah.
and I was wondering if it was from your perspective. I think one of the main things that I noticed in Europe is they had access to bigger events pretty like quicker than
Yeah.
obviously the Mecca in LA, you know. So what are the significant changes that you saw since you started?
First, oh sorry. Yeah, true. Like the events. I remember EBS the first time wasn't a, what was it? Was it a club? I don't. It was something
What
different.
kind of club?
I don't know. Like just
gotta
a
be
random
specific.
club, and
Yes, sir.
like even the organization, like everything was in one day. So you had the pre-selection, the battles, judge demos, everything was just a one day, and I was like, damn, that's a lot. So it was my first one, and now like we have multiple days with workshops, pre-selection, pre-battles, then you go on stage and everything. So it has changed a lot. Even like it's getting more professional.
Yeah.
You know, this year, of course, we had the street situation, and it was great because the feeling changed. But yeah, I feel like it's getting more professional and more professional.
Right.
For sure. For sure.
What about you, Beast?
Shoot. They said all the
most
answers.
significant change since you started.
It is professional now. Professional Krumpers.
I think just more, I guess like the unity. I guess I mean it's always gonna be a struggle to be completely together, but the unity, the sharing the knowledge, yeah. Like I said before, like labbing together, and that was the thing too. That was the reason why I changed my name, I guess, from Beast Fam to Beast Camp, because back then, you know, like a lot of our morals and a lot of our, I don't know, our labels come from gangbanging. So big homie, little homie. Back then we used to call it cage, but the idea of cage was like a put on. And in a gang, if you wanted to be put on a gang, you would have to fight everybody in the gang to be put on. But then now we used it for art, to where if you want to be in the fam, you dance against everybody. You know, he dance, you dance, me, you dance, boom, you know. But that also was limiting, just being friends with other people in the fam. So I was friends with a lot of people that wanted to be under other people, and I wanted to like support that. Like, hey, I'll still help and train you if you want to be under this person, so you could get their attention. Boom, boom. So, but yeah, back then we were just calling each other fams, and if you were labbing with another fam, it was like, yo, you showing them our secrets, boom, boom, boom. And I was just one of those people that I was like, so, like, let's all get good and really see who's really good. Like, let's all have the same knowledge, and let's just see who, like, will work at it. And that's just where I was at. So, yeah, me and my friends were watching UFC. And I was also a fighter before, so I was a boxer. I was in a wrestling team for, like, a year. And after... I learned Jeet Kune Do from one of Bruce Lee's students. He passed away like a few years ago. And so I was just like, oh, we should call it camp, because like in UFC, they learn from different camps for different fights. So I was like, oh, let's just call it Beast Camp, so I could train whoever I want. And even if they're not going to be in my fam, I just want to support them, So... yeah, I think that was like a big shift. And like I said, I knew it was a big shift because I was getting so much heat for it. Like, not just from other people, but from my own fam. Like, yo, you sharing them our secrets and all the stuff that you learned. I was like, well, that's on y'all too, though. Like, if just lab on it, get better, show the work ethic, and you'll be all good. They won't beat you. You get it firsthand anyways, So.
Yeah, it's just that like you said, it's very important for people to understand, like LA culture, gang culture.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you have to be part of a gang in order for you to do this dance and start, doing all of this and twisting up your fingers and stuff. But
at all.
it just explains to you, once you understand that, you have a better understanding of what Beast is talking about right now. This idea of like being part of a fam, and because you're part of a fam, you're part of a crew, and then it's like y'all are creating this vocab, this material, and all this stuff, and you want to keep it to yourself because you might end up battling this other fam and all that. But I just think that it's the natural progression of our culture to be like, yo, this is getting like way bigger than all of this. In order for us to just be so selfish about the knowledge, it makes no sense. So
Yeah.
we appreciate the fact that you decided to bring that up. We're kind of lucky here in MTL. I feel like, if I can make this little side note, we really haven't had this problem because, I had little homies going to take Terminator's classes, and then you'll have, Chantal is just coming to my class on Monday learning. And it's like, so I'm happy that here we never really had that problem. Really, I think it's a big like unit, but it's a smaller community also. And I think that being in a bigger community makes it harder to control these different types of dynamics. But yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I want to just jump back on, asking you for the future, because as leaders, because I believe that everybody is a leader in their community, or a person of influence. It's always great to have a vision. It's always great to think about tomorrow, think about what's up next. And I was wondering if you had anything you wanted to share in terms of like, what's the stuff that you want to do in the future, even if it's not Krump related. Again, like, I'm just interested in knowing, like, if you might have a side project. I know, Daisy, you talk about the music and all of that, but is there any type of side project that is not necessarily related to the dance itself or whatever that you're into? Because I believe that is also another thing. When you talked about support earlier, Beast, supporting this person even though they're not in your fam, but I think that it's great to have support for one another in everything that we do, in every endeavor. Like, not just keep it at like the dance thing, but if we could support one another to do and push in these other directions. So just for future plans, I'm interested in knowing what's going on with y'all.
So this is random.
Yeah.
I gotta be random right now. What I want to see is every Krumper walking through Times Square at one time.
Wow.
Like, I think that would be the craziest flash mob type, like, just everybody walking through Times Square. Yeah.
Why not?
Yo,
That's ball.
that is something that I want to
say,
see.
hey man, I'm taking that. I'm writing it like mental
Yo.
note. We gonna make it happen.
I
Don't
just
care.
feel like that would be so crazy. Like, we all just walking looking crazy through Times Square. Like, they gonna be like, what is going on?
Yeah, they called the
that
cops on this. And
Yo,
everything.
that would be so live. Like, y'all don't think that'd be live? That would be
I'm already picturing it.
Look,
Yeah.
I know y'all was looking for a polished answer, but
That's
that
ball.
is
Nah, nigga,
it's so random, but I really like that's something that I want to see happen. Like us just, if not Times Square, maybe Central Park.
yeah, just like a epic like
Yeah.
place and have everybody there looking crazy, looking buck.
Yes, just
Let's
like
go.
a bunch of Crumpers like together, and we gotta have like probably the cyber trucks too, or some Hummers or something like. Ooh,
Buck.
crazy, looking crazy.
Let's
And I want
go.
my mohawk to be like down here in red, just tripping.
Let's go.
That would be so live. I just think it would be a viral moment.
But
Something I wanna see.
it just shows us how your brain works, though, because you think about like literally very specific artistic projects that are in your brain, and go
Yes.
check out like some of her videos and all of that. I think it's super dope because you're pushing the envelope even in your performance and how you bring things together visually. So it may sound random, but it makes sense when like I follow what you do, and the way that you think. I'm not even surprised that you give me an answer like that because
Yeah.
everything is vivid. You know what I'm saying?
No, for
So
sure.
yeah, that's ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
I blame Michael Jackson. I blame Beyonce. I blame Prince.
I knew you were gonna say Prince.
I blame even Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Like, I just I feel like with art, just the way that you can push the envelope and still have some sort of like message in it, but you can like just create anything. So I'm very much into like the performance aspect in music, like big concert. Oh my God, I die for concerts. Like, what? Last year, I got to go see Usher at his residency and Beyonce, the
Vegas?
Renaissance tour,
Oh.
the same year. So you know I was tripping. I was tripping. Like, what?
You got the juice now.
Yeah, because you know how I feel like just culturally, like the superstar
Right.
artist, right? Like, is really something about somebody that has a show, like where they really care about their production, the lighting, what's happening. Like, even watching Beyonce, like the downtime of Renaissance was no downtime. It was like a party. So like while she's changing or doing whatever with the dancers in the back, like the screen is going crazy, the music, like you still in the crowd tripping, like and she not even out there on stage. I was just like, yo, the way that you're thinking about this is $2.
Yeah, it's
So
Buck. There you go.
it's definitely yeah, it's just inspiration. Even watching like Mike, because Mike is, and you was playing Mike before we started
Yeah.
this. See you
I know there's not a single crumper that doesn't talk about the influence of Michael Jackson.
because
Yeah.
Mike could just stand there for 10 minutes
Buck.
Head nod.
Looking
and
buck.
just, and the girls is crying. They crying.
Passing out.
They crying. They cry, and that's actually a thing in Krump, like having presence. Like if you could step on the floor and just have presence, like, oh, we already know you about the trip, so just chill out.
Right.
Chill out. But yeah, like just watching those performers and all that, like that's definitely something. Like I think including the artistic aspect into Krump, like is crazy. It's crazy.
So let's be on the lookout, y'all. Times Square, Central Park.
Yes, that is the
We're
side.
coming for you.
We have to name it. Is that like the ultimate side quest?
No, man.
Because it's literally just a walk. We not dancing. We not doing, like, we're just walking.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's do
Yes.
it. All right. Bet.
We got to do it like they do the Japanese pranks, where people just, like, walk outside together. So everybody gonna be like, what is going on? Like, that's really what I see, man.
All right, we'll put you in charge of that because I think I just lost you right there. I don't know. I'm not too sure anymore
Gotta
what's
show
going on here, like the Japanese prank and all that.
Yo,
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
show you on YouTube.
Yeah, you
man.
show me because I don't know what the hell you be talking about right now.
So look, man, it's like it's one prank where there's like they have one where it's an alley, right?
Uh-huh.
And so it's like nobody in the alley. It might be like one guy who's like working on his truck or something. And then out of nowhere, like 30 people just start walking real fast down the alley and just like tripping. So now he looking like, what is going on? It's so funny. I have to show you, man.
All right, you show me. We'll work on that. That's dope. See, that's the vision, yo. That's the vision. What about you, Beast Queen? Let me know. What y'all, anything popping? What y'all see for the future, personally or for the movement, whatever?
I could go first.
You could go first.
It's a two-part answer. First one is just like mad vague. I guess it's like everything, to just implement as everything as we can within the culture, and to not limit ourselves to like something like this is way more needed. Just like what 7STARR said,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
very interesting to hear, like your favorite dancers or people that you see damn near every day on social media or YouTube or whatnot. And yeah, you don't really know the person. You don't know their work ethic. You don't know where they came from and whatnot. So yeah, stuff like this, like fashion shows, you know what I mean? Just showing off like Buck fashion. And there's so many clothing brands in Krump.
Yeah.
Even, just walking the catwalk, boom, boom. Maybe do a little chest pop at the end and then come back.
Yes, sir.
Only one basic, so boom, and then go back. Yeah, music, just like what I said, implementing stuff in the sessions. Like my personal mission is just a session, because I tell people like you don't have to wait for something epic to happen. You can be the epic thing that happened. You know what I mean? So, and you don't need much. You don't really need much. Krump was created in a living room, and they didn't have much. And we always have to go back to how things were created so we can keep creating. So we think, oh, we need an expensive camera to do a video shoot. Our phones right now are going to be A-okay to do any type of like solo
Nice.
round that, you know what I mean? I did an interview with no one, and I had like little Amazon mics, and even the dude that filmed it, Conrad or Abel, he's the one that filmed the session documentary, and even he was like, these mics are good, and I'm like, if you're complimenting it, these are only like $15. So a professional videographer was complimenting that, and that's just from Amazon. Like still use what you have. Don't wait for the epic things to happen. You are the epic thing, So a lot of people are asking me like, when are your events happening, or is it gonna come back? I was like, it's gonna come back when I'm labbing what I'm creating in a social sense. Does that make sense? So like I want to start to do open mics type of thing for dancers, so they can get used to performing 5 minutes, boom, even if it's just a regular round. Everyone's all eyes on you, boom, and then some choreography people, some, people that do music, whatnot, and just get them used to that. So when I do an event, and it will be like a 4-day, 5-day, people already warmed up to performing, to having fashion, to, even moms, dads being there cooking, even that. Like, why limit that? Like, why not, like, make food off of Krump, like Krump names,
Right.
Make a food brand off of Krump, like
That banging chili.
the bang,
Banging
you know what I mean?
chili.
Like, that's crazy. That's what happens after. And I said,
Oh my
banging
God.
chili.
bang. But anyways, so yeah, just everything, and that's what I always tell people, like, especially, I don't want to say people that complain, but people that complain about the movement and whatnot, I think that's just your artistry, maybe your inner child just speaking that you want to see something different. And I don't want to sound corny, but maybe you are the difference. Maybe you are the change that, you want to see, but it just comes out as complaining because maybe you're just lazy. So why not just try within your fam? A lot of these things came from just me doing this with my fam. Like my fam labs, If you ask my old little homies, was not just like, all right, guys, let's just lab for an hour and then what did you guys? No, we did so many different activities, boom, boom, and it was just fun, you know. And my last part of that, I really like to see in the future. I don't even know how to say it or how to word it, but more in a sense of how to take care of your leaders. And I think that's something that's really important for us to, take care of our leaders. You know, they take care of us. And that's why when I get booked and whatnot, I just always ask as many questions so I know where they're at mentally, schedule-wise, because, you know, if we want to do stuff, go to the mall, boom, boom, I want to make sure, like, oh, man, because like I said, I've been in those positions to, like, dang, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I got to, you know. So, yeah, along the lines of showing the human part, and I think this is one of his reasons to do this, is to keep, showing and accepting that these leaders that you guys look up to are humans. You know what I mean? Especially these creators, especially these pioneers, especially people that's been here since day one. And we get so used to just taking, expecting. And then when they fall hard, and it sucks. It's a culture that is beyond us. Maybe we won't change it, but maybe we can shift it. But people love to upbring people and even love it more to break down that same person. And we got to stop that. We got to stop that. We got to stop that, because just like years ago, they're your favorites. Now they're your favorites to hate, and they're your favorites to boom, boom. And I'm not even talking about myself. Like, me really chilling with the OGs and hearing their stories, like damn near half of them, or maybe even more than half of them, were depressed and suicidal because of this Krump shit. And it's just crazy to hear that off of just this dance stuff, that like a disagreement or whatever. And to hear that was like, damn. And that's why anytime they would walk in a room, and I'm sure Daisy could like vouch for me, like anytime an OG would walk in a room, I'm like, hey, everyone, I would stop the session, hey, yo, because back in where we from, you know, maybe a few years ago too, OGs used to walk in sessions like this because they was ready to get, packed out, boom, boom, look, that has been, like, damn, like, you know, I get it when it comes to the skill part. Let's always, and I'm a battler. I will battle anybody. Anyway, she said, let's battle because you didn't teach class with me. I said, let's go. So I'm a battler. But I know when to draw the line. And I think when it comes to the human part, these creatives, especially people that came before me, and even right now too, like leaders right now, you know, especially in Cali, I talk to them and I'm exhausted. And I'm like, I know, bro. So I would tell them, don't even pay for class. I'll even pay for gas so you could come to the lab, feel refueled, boom, boom. We'll talk on the side, yada, 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 you know. And, but something along those lines of just taking care of our leaders, because, I think it's really important. And like I said, for the people that's complaining and whatnot for what the leaders are doing, I really believe that's just your call to just step up. And don't be lazy and don't be scared. Because if you was really that hard, then you wouldn't be scared of that feeling either.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yep. For sure. Thank you for that. That's a mic drop for real. We're gonna
Question again, sorry.
The question, what's next? Like, what's the future? What is the vision for Queen, even if it's not directly Krump related? Because again, my main thing about this conversation, because I've been, you know, withdrawing myself. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. What's the vision like for you, even if it's not Krump related? Because we want to see what can we support, because we want to support each other beyond the dance.
Related. It's dance related.
Oh, it's dance related. All right, it's cool.
No,
cool.
so I've been working on it already.
Ooh, what is it?
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
No, I'm opening up. Oh my god, I can't. I'm opening up dance school in my country.
Okay.
So in Senegal,
Wow.
it's some stuff I have to figure it out, but it will happen soon.
In Senegal?
Yeah.
Yo, she's
amazing.
working on opening up a Krump.
That's lit. That's lit.
That's dope. Let us know, man.
That's lit.
Like,
I will let you know.
yeah, and the way, any way we can support, we'd be glad, because that's dope. That's very dope, man. We're happy to hear that.
Yeah, because they don't have a lot there. Like, so I always feel like Krump gave me so much because I didn't start Krump because I wanted to be famous or make money of it. I just did it because I don't like to go to the gym. And now
What?
So it's a night.
true story. So it's funny, I know, but yeah, I had no intention to be who I am today. So I'm like, okay, I received so much in the quant world, and even after those years, I'm still booked and busy. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna take that and invest it in other people, yeah, and in my country.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Congrats. I like to hear that. That's the whole point of this, you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, taking a step back sometimes from the culture is a very good thing to do, you know. And I've been doing that in the past couple of months or even year. And looking at everything that's happening, I really resonate with what you said, Beast, you know. Taking care of one another, you know, and not let the dance blur our vision of one another as humans.
Yeah.
Not because somebody is super talented that we need to treat them a certain way, and not because somebody who's an up and coming person who's not necessarily, you know, doesn't have the status in the game that we treat them another way. You know, really take care of one another, because that's going to make the difference down the line of how we grow as a culture, as a unit. You know, and I think that's very important. Everybody here tonight brought up some very, very strong points, and I'm going to keep emphasizing this throughout the whole festival. You know, we definitely going to be bucking, we're definitely going to be learning, we're definitely going to be going at each other's throat, but we're always going to bring it back down to the human aspect of this, because there are times where I let the game consume me, right? And you don't want that, trust me. You want to be like level headed and understand how, like, this is a dance. At the end of the day, we're supposed to be having fun, all right? It's not supposed to be that crazy.
Yeah.
Gonna take maybe another question from the crowd, and I think we're gonna probably wrap it up after. Yes, sir. My man Swami, what's good?
So, in the context of everything that was said today, right? So, keeping in mind that we want to keep the human aspect and like push the culture in new areas, I'm curious to know what you think the role of battles are. Because lab and sessions we talk about a lot, but battles, especially the battles outside of events, right? Outside of the organized battles. So we're talking street or the impromptu call-outs. Like what do you see the role of these things as?
So where do you see the role of the battle aspect of Krump, and more from the street type of battle, like impromptu type of battle style? We're not necessarily talking as much about event battles, or is that part also of your question?
Part also, but not
Right. So yeah, I think it's because we talk so much about like the human aspect, and so then and sometimes we feel like, I think, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Swami, but I think that you're asking that question because battles are often the igniter of like some of the drama in the culture, right? So that is why you're asking this question. So that's a very good question. What do you feel is the role of battling into that? You know, as a battler, Beast, because I know you're a battle head. What would you answer to that?
I'll battle all y'all right now. Nah, for real. Nah, it's funny. Like I said, we always gotta look at the creation of the intent of the creation first to keep creating, you know, and also what was also the influence and how it turned into art. So, yeah, battling, you know, you have something with somebody, oh, I disagree with what you said, or maybe it's personal, boom, boom. We have the blessing to turn it into art through battling. That's first, you know, because without battling, and if I really have a problem with someone that said and it gets really heated to where I need to physically do something and fight, we're not fighting each other. That's the one thing that we have to be like, okay, like, that's a blessing that we get to express ourselves. I remember even reading like one of a psychology book, and one of the best things that you can do is really express to the person that hurts you what you feel, you know. And yeah, we get to do that through physical movement, through concepts, and even concepts that we should never ever do in real life. Pick them up and throw them up in the air, wow, wow, wow. Like, we could never
Yeah.
do that, or else we're in trouble, you know. So, we have to remind ourselves of that it's a blessing to first do that. You know what I'm saying? And to, I mean, we always say like leave it on the dance floor, and then yeah, like yeah, leave it on the dance floor, and which is important, and talk it out. You know, that doesn't mean y'all
Yeah.
gotta be best friends. That doesn't mean whatever. It could even be, most of the times in my experiences, like agree to disagree. And it's not even when I was involved. I would be the middle person a lot in my fams, as a big homie, as a little homie, or helping out with yeah, my fam as me being like under eyes. There was so many things that happened. I was just in the middle, like, all right, y'all battle it out, talk it out, and I'm just in the middle, boom, boom. So yeah, I am one to say, like, do not bottle it up. Do not avoid conflict, you know, because I do think this type of conflict and expressing it this way is healthy. But bottling it up and then spreading rumors, and that's where it just starts to get even more crazier and messier, to where if it was just a problem, not just with me, and this is why I'm saying, like, with Krump, sometimes we got to look outside of Krump, because just like in any dance style, we love to see ourselves as, like, the special one. But there was dance styles I was doing this before us. Like, I remember I was just with Poppin' Pete, and he said the same thing, like, when in the 60s, 70s, you know, and he was just like, yeah, someone called him out. What? Where? And he had to run down the block, went to his house, dum, 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 dum. I'm here to battle your son. Okay, boom, boom, boom. They battled, and he ran back home, beat him, ran back home. It was still that raw till that day, you know.
Did you hear the pitter patter?
Yo, that was crazy. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I thought it was crazy.
Yeah, even like another story that I heard from him just this past weekend, his son was in high school, and they're like, hey, my friend thinks he could beat you. And Poppin' Pete, being a dad, you know, of a high schooler, said, word, pulled up to the school, boom, and it just turned into a whole commotion. And the funniest part was like, you, go back to your high school. And then Poppin' Pete's son was like, but he's, you know, like, but, oh, yeah, I'll go back to my high school, you know, because he still looked like a high school person, but obviously he's not having a high school son, you know. But yeah, he boom, did that battle and left, you know what I mean? So it's still part of the culture that, yeah, needs to have a good balance. But this is why, again, leaders, and it don't even have to be leaders, just like good human beings, like, you know, you should know that, okay, there are things that needs to be expressed. We have the gift of dance and gift of battling to let it out, boom, boom. We have rules, you know, not much touching. Yes, if it's a little touching, but obviously no punching, no intentional punching, no this, no that. And yeah, there's like, I think way more battles that been beefy like that, and it's been like it ended on a good note. There's like maybe I could count on my 10 fingers like battles that ended bad, and I'm talking about ever in Krump. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even think of stories that like, oh, this one battle turned into this. Okay, let's try to count 10 in all battles of Krump.
Right.
That's crazy to think about. All battles that it turned into a brawl, it turned into someone dying. Like, you know what I mean? So don't forget that. And two, also think, you know, if it's not personal, like, just think too, just filter it out. Is he just calling me a whack dancer? Then okay, it's just about my skill. If it's something about personal, sometimes you don't even need to battle first. Like, hey, yo, if this is a personal thing and can we talk it out? Try to talk it out, and if you can't, okay, then let's battle. You know, sometimes you could switch it, but really filter it out. Sometimes don't be too sensitive, and that could be a battle tactic too, or that could be something for us to work on, like tough skin. What? I'll tell my own personal story to where, remember what I said? I was battling Kid Beast every day. I used to be with my shorty, battle. Damn. I had to walk 20 minutes to his house. The only hype people was I'm not saying not good people, but it was a drug dealer, someone with a gun on his lap, another drug dealer, and they were talking mad crap. I seen that move yesterday. Oh, that's a solo move. That's a Tadai's move. Blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't do nothing because, one, they were way older, way bigger, and I was going to get my butt whooped. So that's what got me tough skin. So all this Krump beef that happens now, I'm like, you guys are so corny. Because I had real people that was doing real stuff that you guys are personifying, talking crap to my face, and I was doing that every day for damn near a year and a half until I finally beat Kid Beast. and I never lost since then, or like barely lose since then. So it's like, it's also something to think about, filter it out. All right, are we just talking about the dance? Okay, I'm feeling riled up. Use that energy in the lab. And that's my next point. These battles can be used to, get up there. One of the advice that I heard from Hitman, when Hitman first came back into the scene, Hitman's so raw. He was like, "Hey, bro." He's like, "Hey, you need a dance rival." I was like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "You need a dance rival to just push you, because of me, I had Hurricane. We had epic battles, and you see, like, one of my most epic moments was when I put the cup on his head, so you need that. I ain't gonna lie, it gotta be concrete, bro." And I'm like, what?
This man decided for you.
He decided for me.
He had this thing planned out
Yes,
for you, bro.
and I remember where I was at. I was parked in front of my dad's house. I was on the phone with him. I'm still starstruck that I'm on the phone with Hitman. He's giving me advice. I was like, what? And I was like, but but Concrete's like my brother. I knew him before we were in the Ice fam. He's like, I don't know, bro. You just need that so that you could keep pushing yourself. So it's just law of competition. But it's just stuff you need to filter out. If you do not know, and if you are like confused and whatnot and need help, you guys have your community, of people that have been through this. So remember that we're gifted with this art to not physically harm each other, whatnot, and even, don't go too far to psychologically harm them. You can battle talk all your whack, seen that move yesterday, oh, that's a solo this or that's a solo move, biter, all that, that's fine, And yeah, these types of things makes or breaks careers. Because why would y'all even want me up here? If let's just be real, like I be telling people a lot, especially newcomers that come up that be throwing events. In my opinion, we trying to get spicy, but in my opinion, a lot of people kind of taking shortcuts to making events and this and that, and then kind of wanting some super duper respect. But I'm like, at the end of the day, you're not him. I was him first, and then I started to put into the community because I'm my own brand first.
Yeah.
I have a list of resume of me versus Ugly Fate, winning EBS, me versus Todd Eyes, me versus Miho, me versus Concrete, me versus at the illest, this I could, that was my brand first, and those are the things that made me interesting to hear, to take workshops from and whatnot. And now it is pretty easy to just, because the trajectory of the movement right now is togetherness, which I said is amazing. But yeah, I see sometimes like people feel like, oh, I should get certain type of recognition. But I was like, but you got to be him first. We went through, even they were traveling to the U.S., to Europe, entering all these battles, all these tournaments, you know what I mean? And yeah, even we was battling, right, at the illest.
Yeah, we battled the illest.
We battled the illest, and it's those things. So yeah, battling, and I'm even want to say it can get heated, but just please know that keep it healthy, because it can really make or break you. And those are the things, like, you do not learn unless you are in a high pressure experience.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You do not learn. You cannot cut that corner. I don't care how many workshops, how many sessions. There is those things when your back is against the wall. Do you trust your lab? Do you trust all that? That's a feeling that will make or break stars. So that's where stars are born, So I'm sorry if it's like a long answer, but I could keep going because, like I say, I'm a battlehead. But it is one thing that really developed my character as a person too. You know what I mean? And my look on this is like how I look on life. When I lose in life, I just take these things too. When life gets hard, I filter it out. It's not personal. And I just got to get my money up. Boom, boom. It's not, oh, the whole world's against me. It's just, all right, I'm slipping. Let me get back into the lab of life and just knock it out. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
I think just to add to that, just giving, I guess, my perspective. Because with the question, is it more so like you trying to understand if it's bad or a good thing to sort of keep in the culture, or?
Just the role. I think it's the role, because I think that ever since we got here, we talked about like kind of, that first question was about like what is one thing that was significant that changed,
Yeah.
inside of the culture. So we're definitely talking about the evolution of things because everybody comes from a different place, different era, different personal experience. So we're definitely trying to see, the evolution of things. But then where we're at now, we definitely probably have to take a step back and look at all the elements and the pillars of the culture and look at them and revisit them or reevaluate how they affect us. What is the role? So one of them being battling, I think it's important to kind of like study the role of battling now after everything we've been through, in the culture.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the question comes from. Does that make sense, Swami? Yeah, cool.
If it could help make it a little clearer, I hope. It first started out, this question is like, why would you call somebody out? Right? Like, what is a healthy, quote unquote, reason to call somebody out? And what's a reason that you probably shouldn't call? A reason for which you probably shouldn't call them out for, right? So,
That's like vague. So like for me, probably one of the top reasons to call someone out is just to test your own skills, but also you want to know where you really are at. So when I started to do the top 8 rookies, it was because, and I love the rookies, especially at that time, but it was just like not organized because they would battle like a crush or they would battle and lose. But then in their heart, they're like, but I battled crush. Like, yep. But I was like, but you got washed though. And you're not really like testing your skills I'm sorry. But it's just facts. And it's like, how can you learn from that if like, you're a day one boxer and then you're boxing Mayweather, might feel more, that might stunt your growth more. So when I say, hey, if you want to call someone out within your rank system, or like where you're at. Are you 2 years into Krump? See who's the best. And I think even those things too, like be the best at where you're at. So what I always tell people is learn your mistakes when nobody's watching. You know what I mean? When you take these L's, like I took a lot of L's, like I said, every day for a year and a half. And then when I went out in public, I barely lost because I took my L's. I remember ER, rest in peace, he said the same thing about B-Dash, Concrete. When we were labbing with SK, we were all battling each other and losing to each other. And then when we went out to the world, like when the SK split happened, and we was either at my garage, B-Dash garage, we was always battling each other. And the overhype days, that's why we was like, pew! Like we was doing all these crazy things, So yeah, that's a healthy way. You want to test your skills. You want to know where you're at. And that's one thing too. Okay, I'm 2 years in the game. I want to call this person out that's 2 years, maybe 3 years in the game. Let's see. Boom, damn, I still lost. All right, cool. But I was close though. So why didn't I lose? Why didn't I win? Because of, you didn't do character. This. Okay. Let me try it again. And that's where, like ER said, it was fun. Like that's where rivalry started to come into play. Passing the torch type thing. And
I think also though was healthy, like just not thinking about it in so much of a political like sense. Like if you feel in some type of way,
just get bugged,
and you just want to get at somebody, like that has put the spice in the culture. Like because battling is similar to like if you look at it from like a basketball sense. Like it is the street ball of basketball. So like in the streets, the rules is different. Like you might not get a call if somebody fouls you, like you got to take that hit and like keep going, keep playing the game. So in a sense, like battling, yeah, it's supposed to be a healthy exchange, but on the surface it's unorganized chaos. So this is where you're made in a sense, like you're testing, like he said, your skill set, but it's also like just the opportunity to get the energy off you too. Like, and this is a place where a lot of creativity is like a lot of stuff that you see today came from somebody trying it in that sort of setting. So it really is just like, it's the sport aspect of Krump. Like, people love to compete. I think when it falls more into a negative space, it's just humans dealing with the ego. you know, and I think that that's in anything. I think that would be hard to sort of try to control, you know what I mean? But yeah, Krump is definitely, I think the battle scene is a big part of what has kept it like alive. I mean, people love to compete. Like you see the craziest stuff, and then in terms of a call out, like what I really loved as far as like, I would say, I guess earlier days of a call out, you didn't know who was gonna do it unless you were like close to that person. So like early events before tournaments, like that was a cool thing to kind of come into the event. The event would be one day. So let's say we had an event called Dunamis in LA, which was like the highlight. I would say Dunamis was what EBS is today, you know, but without a tournament. So you just had like set up main event battles, and then you had like a session in the beginning, and then it was a call out piece. So literally, let's just say we all walked in this room, and 7STARR, he's like, all right, we about to have, you know, call outs. So literally anybody could walk in here, come up here, grab the mic and be like, Taminator, I want you. And then none of y'all know. So it's like, oh, like everybody is tripping. So it really gave like, I don't know if y'all ever seen the movie 8 Mile, where like, it's like that. It's very similar to battle rap, like underground hip hop type. Like, it's just fun, that energy. I think like, yeah, it just keeps things interesting. But it is cool that if you do have a real like problem with somebody, you can dance it out. I think that is the balance or the comparison to the gang culture. You know what I mean? Instead of us actually being in the streets with weapons and like going to jail and prison over you doing something crazy, you can actually just like get all that negative energy out through the dance. And then like he said, you should have that talking piece as well. Like, let's go have the conversation and really like talk about what the problem is. And a lot of times, like, because we've throughout the years, like you can see somebody have a problem with somebody, and then like 2 weeks later they cool. Or they in the same fam, or now they're competing as a 2v2 against somebody. So like, yeah, I think with the battling, you just kind of have to understand the balance, and that's just a matter of like maturity, really. So it's definitely something that is here to stay, but it's not the end all be all of Krump, because it is different types of Krumpers. You might be somebody that just enjoys the session, which the session is also a place where you're made as well. That's just free expression.
Right.
So you can either be a hybrid where you like to battle, but you like the session. But if you somebody that just want to get off in that more like cypher supporting space, by all means do that too. Or you might be somebody that just wants to take your Krump in a more performance aspect, like I was saying with the artsy side. Like, it's different ways to be able to express here. So I think that's what's cool. But yeah, the culture of battling, no, that's what keep it buck though.
It goes back to culture. I think that one of the reasons why we have to also re-question that aspect is because Krump has spread. You know, it's easier for somebody that's closer to hip hop culture, which is, you know, you did the comparison with battle rap, or even somebody who grew up in like hip hop music but automatically around breaking or whatever. Like, so the term battling for you is such something that is so common. So when you transition to Krump, it's not something that's foreign to you. But now we're in a place where we're getting this dance is expanding to places where people are not so close to the culture. So when it comes to battling, sometimes it could be very hard to understand, you know, all the crap talk while someone is dancing and all that.
Because battle rapping is really
crazy.
It's based off of disrespect.
Oh yeah.
Like, how badly can I disstraight this opponent, but in a lyrical format?
Right.
So that's what we do as Krumpers. It's like,
straight up.
How badly can I like he said, like punch you in the air, slam you on the ground, whatever it is that I'm thinking about in terms of my material against this opponent. But that is literally the comparison. Like, battle rap, Krump, we are like,
yeah, we're very similar. So I think that's that to answer your question, it's good to reevaluate all of that and to ask those questions. But let's just keep in mind that it's part of it. And for whoever who's not familiar with all of this, you just got to understand that it's something that's happened. It's not leaving nowhere. It's not going anywhere.
For sure.
And it's here to stay. And it's our job as leaders or people who are a little bit more familiar with that to educate people about it, let them know what it's about, make them understand that, hey, man, and keep it healthy, you know. There's a way to have this healthy competition. You want to add anything, Queen? You good?
No, thank you.
We know Queen is just trying to bulk, you know. She's trying to bulk. But yeah, man, I think we had a good conversation. I want to thank you so much. It's already the end of our conversation. I want to say, first of all, big round of applause and a big thanks to our guests, Queen Buckhype, Daisy, and Beast. Very dope to have y'all. This is only the beginning, all right? I think it's a great way for us to start, get y'all to settle in. You know, I know with the jet lag and everything, it could be a little crazy, but y'all got a chance to come here, enjoy some good food, you know,
For sure.
and have this discussion. We just want to let everybody know that, you know, this is the 11th edition of the Gutter Zone Festival. On veut remercier, we want to thank La Maison des Arts de Laval, all right? La Ville de Laval also. This is our first time being centralized in the same spot. This is a new beginning for us, and hopefully we can start doing this more often also for the upcoming years. But everything is happening here. We're going to be in the big theater for the battles. The workshops are going to be happening here. It's going to be great, and we're super excited. And we want to thank the whole team in advance, and we want to thank everybody in advance for this beautiful, wonderful festival that started off as an event in 2008 at a club called Alizé. I'm going to show y'all the footage.
Alizé.
Yo, it was crazy. You know, we started off like in 2008, and to see the growth where we're at today, and it's just amazing. I think we have a lot of stuff on the way. So we want to thank you for being part of this discussion. Make sure that y'all follow our beautiful guests. They're going to be in town. They're super open also for like either privates, or if y'all want to hit them up and maybe pick their brains on other stuff, you know, maybe a question that you didn't get a chance to ask tonight. They're here until Sunday. So just make sure that you make the most out of this. This is legendary right here. This is a privilege. This is an opportunity, and we're doing this for the community. All right. So thank you so much for being here, and thanks. And I don't know if y'all want to add a little something. You know, anything else before we leave? We're good.
Any more questions? Some of y'all
You know,
want to throw
we
out
can't
there?
really take any questions now. But like I said, they're here, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm sure y'all are open if everybody reaches out or anything. You know,
for
yeah.
sure.
Go ahead.
I think just have fun, just like what he said. I mean, speaking for me, but I'm sure with them too. We're here. You know, that doesn't
Just
mean
keep the mic closer to you.
that doesn't mean when we're done with this or the workshop, like we're not approachable. So if you have questions, whatever, yeah, just let us know. Yeah, have fun and have an open mind. I will say it not just for tomorrow, if for people taking the workshops, but even if you guys are dancing, even if it's a session, battle, whatever, just leave it all on dance floor, and you know, put as much effort as you can. Yeah, I'll end with one more story real quick, because I was asking Poppin' Pete, so you danced with Michael Jackson, right? He was like, yeah. So how was he as a person? And he said something. I've been really meditating on it. They would be at rehearsals, and MJ would go 100% at like rehearsals all the time. And Poppin' P was like, hey man, like why are you going 100%? It's just rehearsal. And he's like, I don't understand. Like, isn't there 200%, 300%, 400%, 1,000%? He's like, I always do the best now, and I always elevate to the best of the best. And he looked at him straight in his eye like,
See?
I'm always gonna be 100%. Like, there is nothing besides that. So just leaving that out there, you know. Yeah. So please just put the effort. You know what I mean? You put in, you get out with what you put in, and you guys are you guys are the real big part of this event. We're just doing this most of the time. You guys are really making history while we're just like, you know, kind of guiding it and being the first face of it. But then you guys are the winners. You guys are going to have the viral, crazy rounds within the sessions, the tournaments and whatnot, you know. So don't think that you're not a huge part of this just because you're in those seats. So please put your maximum effort in the classes and the sessions, and one dance round, especially with social media nowadays. One dance round can literally change your life. You don't know who's watching, you don't know who will repost, you don't know nothing. You just want to put yourself out there, and you did your job. Like God, the universe, whatever you believe in, take care of that. But it only is on your side if you're putting that much energy too, if that makes sense. So please put all your effort within this weekend and tell your friends, because we won't expect anything less, because y'all won't expect anything less from us. So same thing with y'all. So it's a partnership, because let's make this shit really epic. Let's make this shit really legendary. So 100% is the start. Then we go to 200, 300,000. So
let's go.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for coming.